All right, let's just jump right in. AI isn't just some buzzword anymore when we talk about the Oracle Autonomous Database. It's literally part of its foundation. But, and this is a big but, with all that power comes a really important choice you have to make architecturally. Today, we're going to break down two very different ways to get AI working. Select AI versus the MCP agent. So you've got AI built into your data. That's awesome. But now what? How do you actually use all that intelligence? More importantly, how do you turn that potential into something that's secure, that's reliable, and totally ready for production? Well, that's the puzzle we're going to solve right here in this explainer.
Okay, so Oracle basically gives you two paths to choose from, and they are powerful, but they are super different. Think of it like this. On one hand, you've got a path that's all about speed, rapid analytics, just exploring your data. And on the other hand, you've got a path built for seriously governed, controlled, enterprise-level operations. And trust me, knowing the difference between these two is absolutely critical.
So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll start at what I'm calling the AI crossroads. Then, we'll take a look at each route on its own. First up, Select AI, the Explorer's route, and then the MCP agent, which is more like an architect's blueprint. After that, we'll put them head-to-head, see how they stack up. We'll even talk about a pretty smart hybrid strategy. And then at the end, we'll wrap it all up to help you figure out which path is the right one for you and your team.
All right, so let's start at the AI crossroads. This is really where a lot of companies find themselves right now, standing at a fork in the road, trying to figure out which way to go when it comes to putting AI to work right inside their database.
First up, let's talk about Select AI. I like to call this the Explorer's route. And that's because this path is all about giving your users speed and agility. It's about letting them discover insights, on the fly.
So, what in the world is Select AI? Honestly, it's pretty simple, and that's what's so cool about it. It lets a user just type a question, in plain English, right inside a SQL statement. The database then takes that, works with a large language model to translate it into proper SQL, and just runs it. That's it.
Let's make this feel a little more real. Picture this. You're a finance analyst. You're busy. You don't have time to mess around with complex SQL joins or figure out the right group by clauses. You just have a question you need answered right now. Something like, hey, show me the total invoice revenue by month for the last year.
And this is where the magic really happens. The analyst types in that simple question. Then, behind the scenes, Select AI figures it all out and generates the correct SQL, complete with the right group by. The database runs that against the tables, and boom, the aggregated results pop right up. Instantly. No complicated coding, no waiting around for someone to build a report. It's just done.
So here's the bottom line on this one. Select AI is absolutely perfect for that kind of ad hoc exploratory work. It's built for your business analysts, your SQL-savvy teams, anyone who needs fast answers and works in an agile environment where speed is everything.
Okay, let's switch gears and look at our second path. This is the MCP agent, and I call this one the architect's blueprint. This approach is all about building AI that is governed, scalable, and completely auditable, right from the very beginning. See, for enterprise-wide AI, especially stuff that's running in production, just letting an AI generate any SQL it wants, well, that can be a little risky. The business risk can be huge, right? An unpredictable query could spit out the wrong financial numbers or lead to bad operational decisions. So you need more control. You need to know, for sure, that when someone asks a specific business question, they get a consistent, predictable, and correct answer. Every single time. In tech, we call that determinism. And that is exactly where the MCP-based AI agent comes into play. And the core difference here is really fascinating. Instead of letting the AI just make up raw SQL on the fly, you give it a curated, pre-approved set of PL/SQL tools. Think of these as business logic functions. So now, the AI's only job is to pick the right tool for the task at hand.
And this slide shows you exactly what I mean. These aren't just random queries. Nope. These are pre-built, they're tested, they're approved business functions. You're basically giving the AI a set of safe, reliable building blocks to work with. For instance, you might have a tool that finds top customers by revenue, or another one that runs a supercritical order-to-invoice reconciliation. Each one is a trusted, repeatable action.
Okay, now let's think about a different user. Let's say a sales VP. Their question is going to be more complex, and it has some serious financial implications. They might ask, which orders haven't been invoiced and are putting us at risk of revenue leakage? You absolutely cannot afford to get the answer to that wrong.
Well, with the MCP agent, there's no guesswork. The AI doesn't even try to invent some complicated new query.
It understands the user's intent, and it just selects the pre-approved order invoice recon tool. What does that get you? It ensures the result is deterministic, the whole execution is logged, and the entire process is auditable and totally enterprise-grade.
Okay, so now that we've got a good handle on both paths, let's put them side by side. A real head-to-head comparison to make the differences crystal clear.
This table really lays it all out. Let's just focus on the key differentiators here. Deterministic business logic, that's a big no for Select AI, but it's a huge yes for the MCP agent. You get the same answer every time. How about the governance model? With Select AI, it's pretty broad at the schema level, kind of like giving someone the keys to the entire building. With the MCP agent, it's at the tool level, which is like giving them a key to one specific office, much more controlled. And look at the logging, basic versus full lifecycle. All of this adds up to why the MCP agent is truly ready for prime-time production AI assistance, while Select AI is really more for that exploration phase.
So it might sound like a simple choice, right? Speed versus structure. But here's the thing. If you lock everything down with only governed tools, you can kind of stifle that rapid discovery that leads to new ideas. The innovation cost can be pretty high. And that's why the most mature organizations are figuring out that the best answer isn't picking one or the other. It's actually implementing a smart, hybrid strategy.
And this is the really crucial takeaway here. The best strategy isn't either or, it's both. You can absolutely leverage the strengths of each pattern to serve different needs, all within the same organization. And this is a brilliant illustration of how that actually works in practice. You end up creating a layered AI strategy. So your analysts, the folks who need to dig into the data and find new trends, you empower them with the speed of Select AI. But your executives who need those reliable, governed answers to make big decisions, they interact with assistants powered by the MCP agent. It's really the perfect balance of flexibility and control. Okay, so this brings us to our final step, choosing the right path for your organization. And now you have to ask yourself, what does our current AI maturity level really require? You know, the perspective from the experts at Business Insight Consulting really drives this point home. The ultimate goal here is to design an AI architecture that balances 4 key pillars: intelligence, governance, observability, and scalability. It's not just about making things smart, it's about making them smart, safe, and built to last. So look, if you only take one thing away from this explainer, please let it be this core trade-off. Select AI is your accelerator. It delivers unbelievable speed for discovery. The MCP agent, on the other hand, is your foundation. It delivers the solid structure you need for enterprise-grade production AI.
And that leaves us with one final question for you to think about. As you look at your own teams, your own data, your own business goals, ask yourself right now, is your organization ready for speed, for structure, or is it maybe mature enough for both?